We've got some recent developments here. The 2024 presidential election, you talked about that. President Trump, or President-elect Trump, defeated Kamala Harris. President Trump had been very cagey about what his position is on Ukraine throughout the campaign. What are your thoughts on the election and how this might affect the war?
Cagey, as in I will not tell you my plan. You will learn my plan after I do it. That's sort of cagey. Yeah, yeah. You can call it that. I guess he has a what's the phrase? He has a concept of a plan. Yes,
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
phrase. I remember that. Proud of myself right now. But yeah, problem is that like I said, like you said, the guy is quite cagey, so you can't like tell 100%, obviously. But no, everyone is pretty scared and unfortunate that for us that this happened. I believe because seems to be like the main agenda of MAGA movement, as at the very least isolationism. So if they aren't really like pro-Russian 100%, right? They are fuck Ukraine, we don't care, right? So they don't want to give us any aid. They're all about like cutting off entirety of the foreign aid to Ukraine, not Israel though. I don't know. It's hard to tell with these people.
That's
They're
that's
all over the place.
probably an American politics thing. A lot of older Americans are really pro-Israel and have been for like decades.
Mhm.
So like there's like a you can't go
Yeah,
against them really without and win elections probably in most districts.
yeah. I'm not even saying like should they or shouldn't they. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that their isolationism is kind of a bit selective, it seems. But overall, it's just yeah, it's very difficult to say. Some people say like that Trump is like straight up Putin's bitch. People say that as well. Considering he's announced his particular picks, like potentially having Tulsi Gabbard of all people being an intelligence director. That's scary because if there was ever a Russian asset, it's that woman. So I really, Jill Stein probably would be a competition, the only competition I can think of. So yeah, it's pretty dangerous. And what the hell is his plan? He's unpredictable, he's chaotic, but most people think that he will try to press us and blackmail us into pretty much surrendering and complying to Russians' demands, which he will proudly call peace, which will, of course, not be peace in any shape, way, or form. But we are also in a pretty difficult position because we depend on other countries to help us. And if you cut that off, you put us in a pretty difficult position. And I'm not sure exactly what will happen. I just know that it wouldn't be good.
Now,
Uh, yeah.
you mentioned Tulsi Gabbard, and I think like it's fair to call her anti-Ukraine to say the least. But he
Yep.
also appointed Marco Rubio, whose I think his record is mixed on Ukraine. Like he's occasionally
Yeah.
supportive and occasionally not,
Mhm.
to Secretary of State. And then he also appointed Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor, who is pro-Ukraine. So do you think there's a possibility where Trump abandons kind of the more isolationist rhetoric and rises to the occasion here, or recognizes that there maybe is an American interest here that we need to take into account, or
The possibility is kind of there, but like I said, one of the most prominent things is that the guy is like deeply chaotic, so you can't really tell. For example, Putin might one day say he has small hands. I don't know, and he might flip the fuck out and will become biggest supporter of Ukraine. Or maybe if we build a statue, the most beautiful, biggest statue ever seen in Kiev, I don't know, like Maidan Square or something like in Hryshadek, somewhere there. And we will all, I don't know, go kiss it or some shit. And maybe then he will be 100% on Ukraine side. For me, it's a solid strategy. I must suggest it to Zelensky via email. But but yeah, anything, honestly. I will kiss it myself. So yes, it's just like it's jokes aside, like I'm joking, but it's like only half jokes because you really don't know like where exactly this will land. But yeah, but for example, his vice president Vance publicly said that all the aid would be cut off and he doesn't give a shit about Ukraine, like literally said with the exact same words. So yeah, I'm just quite, I really don't know, like. And everything Trump was saying, he when he was asked about do you want Ukraine to win, he never said yes. He never even answered in any sort of affirmative. What he did say, though, people are dying, we need peace. that sort of language is to anyone with like a little bit more than one brain cell. That language means that he wants to basically stop the war. Yes, but stopping the war doesn't mean peace for Ukraine. It means freezing up the conflict, and Russia then attacks much more empowered than ever in 5 6 years. So yeah, we are not going to, I hope, agree to any of that sort of thing. But what it will leave us with is difficult to say, because of course, United States has a big influence. For example, when UK were thinking about giving us permission to strike within Russia with their missiles, uh, United States, Biden's administration popped in and said no, and they changed their mind. So US obviously has a great influence on Europe as well. So it kind of depends if the Europe will make a choice to cut themselves off and to make more independent decisions, and to be more invested in their own defense and their own NATO, and their own protection system, other than just relying on United States, which most people in Europe now consider to be irresponsible and not dependable.
Can Ukraine win without American support?
That's the question. That's the question. To be kind of fair, you can't really say that America has been that much helpful recently. Like, no shade, but it's just it is what it is. The European countries somehow managed to overstep you in the support we get. Even F-16 we have is not American. So it's just the US have been like kind of like. Not that good with support in this year, and up until I think 23, if I'm not mistaken, United States was like the biggest helper in terms of aid, but not anymore. So yeah, but can we? Hard to tell. I don't think it's possible for us to achieve great like positions in terms of like negotiations, in terms of our positioning in between Russia and us, in if we don't have a proper support, because winning against the country 30 times your size and just as much in equipment also is helped by Iran. North Korea now also entered the war in Kursk, right? So China now officially, thank fuck, it's been like literally 3 years, people recognize that they sponsor Russia with lethal weapons. I think European Union officially recognized that a couple of days ago. So yeah, it's just it's difficult to say the least, and we aren't immortal, so our people are not endless. They do end sometime, and we have less people than Russia, and we have less weapons than Russia. And what we did have was insanely high morale, momentum, and fucking blazing righteousness. And that helped us, definitely helped us, but it can't take you, it's not forever. It doesn't last forever, right? So in that sense, of course, I'm not exactly sure what we're supposed to do now, and how we will move forward. I will not pretend that I know, because depends on I guess Trump, depends on Russia, depends on a bunch of actors. And yeah, all I know is that our main goal is to have justice, and to have just peace, not just peace, but having sort of a guarantees of security and of safety. And at this point, nobody seems to be willing to give them us those damn guarantees. And I be 100% frank, and I truly mean no offense, but I wouldn't even trust United States or anyone in the West, to be honest, to if they give such guarantees, to uphold them, because they didn't. Right, when we had Budapest Memorandum is when we gave away our nuclear weapons in exchange of the guarantees of our sovereignty. And Russia was one of the people who signed them, and America as well. And you can wipe your ass with that. So yeah, so in that sense, I'm grateful to everyone who supported us, and I'm grateful for the aid that we did have. But you can't be a naive. You can't look through the world through the pink. Well, I guess you can, the yapping, but metaphorically, you shouldn't be because it's just it's obvious. It's obvious. Yes, you can't trust people as Ukraine simply because people backstab us and fuck us over, and they don't uphold their agreements, especially Russia. So yeah. To sum up, I think Russians' biggest hope now is Chechnya scenario. So they basically lost their first Chechen war, and their losses were incredibly big of equipment, of people, and everything. They couldn't really achieve their goals, and they froze it. They signed a peace agreement with Chechnya, and meanwhile, they in that little period of time, like 2 years or something that passed, they grow their war machine. They thrusted their economy fully to working in the production of weapons. They were much better prepared. Meanwhile, Chechnya was licking their wounds, just trying to live in their destroyed cities and destroyed infrastructure and power plants and everything. And second time they attack, they of course didn't give a shit that they signed the peace agreement, Russians, I mean, and they attacked again. And in that war, Chechnya lost. So yeah, I think that's basically what they want currently. It seems to be what Trump wants as well. So I'm not particularly happy about either, as you can probably imagine.
Yes, I do want to revisit what victory and peace look like. I have a section on that at the end. So definitely to get your thoughts on that.